Monetization is turned off for this video, and we're back in the Vagabond Falcon, because one of the things I've been doing is just driving this thing around town a little bit, but the battery wears out because it just has a generator alternator in here, so when I go to crank it, and normally you have to do this a few times. Crank it, 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 crank it. And for these cold starts with this older engine, and I run down the battery doing that. So, a very fine company as I try to find, there it is. Suaoki, I have to pronounce this. S-U-A-O-K-I. S-U-A-O-K-I. Suaoki Mini Jump Starter. This thing charges your phone and it also jumps your car. The battery's not dead, but boy does it need a boost. And this is what this does. And I've used this a few times on the Falcon because when I do get her started, I just drive around town not far enough to charge the battery. So okay, drive it farther. Well, this thing is kind of smoking, it's leaking ATF. I do want to drive her, but we have to keep all the fluids inside her. So until the build gets started, we're stuck with the straight 6. So this is how this fun little thing works. Oh, you can already smell it. Stay. This thing also charges your phone too. It has 2 ports on either side. Now you notice these clips aren't very long. You're not supposed to go positive to positive and negative to chassis. You're supposed to go positive, red to positive, and black right on the battery. The reason you can do that is because there's a fuse in here. If anything happens, it'll trip the fuse and you're not going to hurt anything. You plug the jumpers into the battery, press it, all the lights come on, and it's ready to go. So just place it nice, yeah, like that. Now we have this thing boosting the battery. So we'll give it another crank, and this thing will start up with full juice. I think I didn't need to prime it like that, but here we go. Okay, didn't go. Do we still have lights out there? Are the lights still on? Let me double check. That's interesting because that was it certainly cranks strong, but I wonder how many cranks you get out of it. Okay, the light's turned off here. Let me turn it back on again. We got lights. Maybe for safety, after each crank it turns itself off. Last time I did it, it started on the first one. Oh, I also... Ooh! There we go! And I'll bet once I turned it on, now that the car is running, and the generator alternator is running, it probably turned itself off for safety, which it did. I'll take them off. There we go. Anybody who has a classic car would be good to have one of these things, because we spend so much time cranking cars. It's so easy to run the battery down, but with this, you're covered. So thank you.